I never gave climate change a second thought until the pandemic shut down. I spent a lot of time at home in my backyard just observing nature. First, kind of getting to know my neighbors and really understanding how important we are to each other.
I hear you. All right, thank you. Thank you for offering your expertise. Oh, that's a worthy cause. Yeah,
The way we think about climate readiness is complicated. For so many years, trees have become an afterthought. We're thinking about bike lanes, we're thinking about sewage system, which are important things, but the trees are always a last thing to be considered. And what we're trying to do is say, no, actually the trees have to be the first thing we see. We have to plan around the trees because the trees are here to ensure that our city is not only climate ready, but that our city is vital, right? These trees are providing vital services. They're not just some sort of commodity to be traded away. They're actually a critical component of our urban infrastructure. Speak for the Trees is an urban and community forestry nonprofit. We focus on what we call tree equity, the idea that trees are really critical, especially in the era of climate change, to issues of health, resilience, well-being, vitality, community bonding. And we work at the intersection of climate justice, environmental justice, racial, social, economic equity to ensure that our urban forest here in Boston is shared equitably across the city. So we have great disparities in our urban forest here in Boston. For example, East Boston or Charlestown have tree canopy coverage in the single digits, so 8 to 9%. If you look from a satellite view of those neighborhoods are covered with trees, versus West Roxbury is close to 50%. And we see everything in between. Boston does not lack in greenery. We have one of the best park systems in the country. And I think the success of those spaces have tended to mask the inequity that exists in other spaces. And that's no dig against the park system. I think they're great. I think those parks should be celebrated and cared for. But I think that has come traditionally at the expense of building capacity at the community level. And I think it's also come at the expense. Boston, until Speak for the Trees was founded, was the only major city in America, save Las Vegas, the only major city in America that lacked an urban forestry nonprofit.
Beautiful. There we go.
And then, yeah, we just do that, right?
Some rubbing. Nice and fun.
Some nice massage.
A massage, yeah, I know. I could use some of those. Maybe I'll just become a tree.
Oh, I love the way it feels too.
I know. I feel so good. I know. I mean, I kind of want to become the tree. But I don't think that's going to happen.
The city is good at a lot of things. One thing that I think it'll admit it struggles with is engaging well with residents, engaging well in private spaces. And so even if they were to meet everything that comes out of that plan from the public side, they need someone to pick up the pieces on the engagement and community side. Trees are a way to do that, both in their physical manifestation, right, where we're planting trees and helping children breathe cleaner air, but also in the way that they bring people together to have that conversation about what they hope for their future.
28, so I'm, Lincoln, Sudbury. Okay, all right. My name is Ilani Morales, and I'm a resident of Boston. I live here in Hyde Park.
Present and future.
I call myself a guerrilla tree planter. I've been planting trees in Hyde Park, Dorchester, East Boston. I mean, and there's a lot of red tape, particularly, with local municipalities and whatnot. And I'm so thankful for organizations like Speak for the Trees, who, take the time and effort and have the resources, pull together the resources to make this happen.
I think we're ready.
Trees are very still, very silent, but they're constantly working, they're constantly giving back. So, being still isn't a bad thing. It's, with the shutdown, we saw Mother Nature kind of make a comeback. And it's like, wow, that too kind of made me pause and think, like, what is it about us as human beings that has that effect on nature? No other species on the planet has that negative effect. So it was just kind of like an awakening of sorts, a pandemic awakening.
There are two sides to that tree equation. One side is who has access to trees and the benefits that trees provide. But the other side that we're working towards, and I think this is really critical, and you can't get to that first side without the second side, is who has access to those jobs, those workforce jobs in tree care.
You would have been here. I want these trees to grow, to continue to teach us, how to be better habitants of our planet, and to clean the air, to provide shelter, food for all living beings, all living things around it. That's my hope for these trees, and that someday, maybe I'll come with my grandkids one day and say, see that tree right there? I had I helped plant that tree. You see that one there too? And, maybe set a standard, like, hey, over my lifetime I planted, I don't know, maybe X amount of trees. I want you to double that. And just kind of keep that momentum going. That's my hope.
The work has to come from the community, for the community, by the community, right? A tree is not something that you plant and walk away from. It's not a solar panel. It's a thing that's living that needs someone in the community to care for it. So unless the voices of the residents are the ones driving the requests, or the ones who know what to ask for and continue to be, unless they're the ones whose voices are heard, then that's not equity.
All right.
No, but they're cute.
This is looking so good. Wow. One down, a lot more to go. But that wasn't bad.
Thank you. Good luck.
Up to us to not only listen to the trees and what they're saying to each other, but what they're saying to us, and what that tells us about our shared humanity and our place in this earth.
Hey. That wasn't bad.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yes.
Be good. You will.
All right. How do we feel?
I know. We love you, trees.
Do we feel happy with how this looks?
I love it.
Okay, we could go over there.